Howdy, folks. This is Texas Dicer. Have you ever been to a casino and heard a whole lot of whooping and hollering? If so, then chances are it was coming from a craps table. So, you decide to walk over and see what all the commotion is about. But when you get to the table, you see something like this. Chips are everywhere, and people are throwing even more chips all over the place, and everyone is talking all at once. So, what do? Well, if you've never played the game of craps before, you walk away because it looks too complicated and way too intimidating. Well, this video is the first in my beginner craps series where I hope I can simplify the craps table so even a beginner will be able to step up to the table and have fun playing the game of craps. So let's look at our basic craps table. Wait a second, let me get rid of all these chips. Well, that's a lot better. But let's break this table down a little bit more and see what we have. One thing that you may notice is that there are typically 4 casino employees that are working, or rather, dealing a craps game. Standing here is a person called the stick man or woman. This person handles the dice as well as all the bets in the middle of the table. Over here, we will find the left side dealer. This person handles all the bets on the left side of the table. And over here, we have the right side dealer, who handles all the bets on the right side of the table. Here in the middle is the box man, again, or woman. This person handles all these chips, as well as the cash that each gambler brings to the table. Sometimes you'll see a pit boss standing in the background. He is basically a supervisor that ensures that the game is going smoothly and that there are no shenanigans going on. There's a left side of the table and a right side of the table and a bunch of crazy stuff in the middle. I call this crazy because these bets have the highest casino edge. What this means is that the casino makes a larger profit on each bet that is bet in this area. So let's just remove this center section. I'll try to cover these in another video. Well, that makes the table look a bit more manageable, but still a bit complicated. As I mentioned, we have our left side and our right side. These sides are mirror images of each other, and they're their exact same thing. They allow the casino to have more players all at once around a single table. And since they're the same thing, let's get rid of one of these sides. Now we're cooking with gas. This game's getting easier and easier. But let's zoom in onto this right side of the table and see exactly what we have. If you're standing on the right side of the stick person, then you only need to be concerned with the right side of the table. So let's take a look at what we have. This highlighted area is called the pass line. It's the easiest bet to make at a craps table. It also has one of the lowest house edges. Most players will put a bet here, but you don't necessarily have to. If you put a bet here, it will pay even money. This means that if the pass line wins, a $10 bet will win $10. I'll go into more detail on this bet and how it wins or loses a bit later. This rather large area here is called the come bet. It's very similar to the pass line bet, but is made when the puck is in an on position. I'll cover the come bet in a future video, but for now, let's go ahead and remove it from the layout. This area here is called the don't pass line. This bet works the opposite of a pass line. If you make a don't pass bet, you're typically betting the opposite of everyone else at the table. Because of this, we'll remove it from the table. Again, this bet will be explained in a future video, but for now, we can remove it. Just like the pass line has a come bet, the don't pass has a don't come bet. And this too can be removed from our layout. The fill bet is pretty much self-explanatory. It wins if the shooter rolls a 2, 3, 4, 9, 10, 11, or 12. Even though this seems like a lot of numbers, the chances of losing this bet are actually higher than the chances of winning. So we're going to go ahead and remove this bet from our layout and talk about it in a future video. Wow, this complex table is starting to look a little bit easier now, isn't it? So let's take a look at our more simplified table. We have our pass line along the bottom, and at the top we have 6 numbers in boxes, the 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, and 10. Strangely enough, these numbers are called box numbers. It's easier to look at these box numbers in pairs. The 6 and 8 are a pair because the payout on any bet that's made on one of these two numbers will pay exactly the same. You don't really need to remember what the payouts are right now, but if you're curious, they will pay $7 for every $6 that's bet on one of these two numbers. The next pair of numbers is the 5 and the 9. These also will pay the same amount on any bet that's made on the 5 or the 9. However, these numbers will pay $7 for every $5 that's bet. The last pair of numbers is the 4 and the 10. They too have the same payout, which happens to be $9 for every $5 that's bet on one of these two numbers. Now, I don't want to confuse you, but the 4 and 10 will sometimes pay differently. But there's no need to worry about that right now. Payouts will be discussed in another video. So, since the 8, 9, and 10 are very similar to the 4, 5, and 6, we're going to go ahead and remove these numbers from our table. Because if you understand the 4, 5, and 6, you'll also understand the 8, 9, and 10. So there you go. That is the basic craps table. We have gone from a very confusing table that looks like this to a much more simple table that looks like this. I hope I've been able to ease your intimidation of the game of craps. But wait a second. How do I get chips? How do I bet? How do my bets win and how do they lose? Well, we'll talk about that in part 2 of this Beginner's Craps series. If you like this content, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. This will help my channel grow. Also, if you want to be notified when new videos are released, click the notify bell. I'll see y'all next time, and good luck at the casino.